Paris' 13th District focuses on Emilie, who meets Camile, who is attracted to Nora, who crosses paths with Amber. They're friends, sometimes lovers, and often both. This is directed by Jacques Audiard, who is behind films like the excellent A Prophet, as well as the darkly comic The Sisters Brothers, and he co-wrote the screenplay with Celine Sciamma, among others, and it hit both theaters and VOD in early April. It's a relatively small-scale film centered around how we're all connected, both online and in the real world. It's not one that I'd call overly ambitious, as it keeps itself pretty contained to these four main characters with only so big of a supporting cast, but with such a playful tone, it's quite a fascinating look into the misadventures of this quirky cast of characters, in particular when it comes to their love lives. It's definitely a lot funnier than I was expecting it to be, as the black and white restrained aesthetic gives off the feel like it's going to be a somber melodrama, especially as I didn't know much going in. And that's not to say that there aren't moments when we see characters at their most vulnerable. We have subplots that range from Emilie, played by Lucy Zhang, being on not exactly the best of terms with her family while her sick grandmother's in the hospital, to Camile, played by Makita Samba, learning how to use some tact when discussing the interests of his family members and how not everyone shares his sometimes blunt view of the world. The film's got a pretty sharp sense of humor, with a clever wit displayed in the banter that definitely helps balance the narcissism of some of our leads, which I think some people might find off-putting. While I don't think any of these characters are outright terrible people, their flaws tend to be heavily on display, as they're shown to be fickle and at times tend to talk past one another. But because of how organic each of these conversations felt, and for how sincere each of the performances were, I really didn't mind this so much, as I could believe these are all genuine conversations and interactions, and that alone had me hooked. Now, there's an episodic format that definitely caught me off guard, with the film not building towards any one major end goal in particular. It tends to stay on one subplot for a long period of time before breaking off and shifting perspectives and not circling back to someone else till a bit later on, and in some instances even jumping ahead in time. And while some might not be the biggest fan of that, especially with some storylines maybe not being quite as endearing as others, it didn't bug me so much, especially once we got introduced to Nora, played by Nomi Merlant from Portrait of a Lady on Fire, in a storyline in which she's mistaken for Amber, played by Jenny Sweet, who is a famous cam girl, and this sends her on this inward path of self-examination, while also crossing paths with our two other leads. While this is quite possibly the oddest of all the storylines, it's strangely enough also the most captivating, especially for the raw energy on display from Merlant, who balances out a natural charisma with these endearing confessional moments that make you easily forget how off-kilter some aspects of her storyline are. I think no matter what else you think of the rest of the film, everyone will be in agreement that her story is easily the strongest. But overall, I quite like Paris' 13th District, which is a film I was not expecting to enjoy as much as I did. While it's not ambitious by any means, and it has a clear episodic format that doesn't always work to its advantage, it's a charming little series of stories centered around our interconnectivity that mixes humor and heartbreak quite well. With a playful tone, solid camera work, and excellent performances, you should definitely give this one a shot. Paris' 13th District gets an 8 out of 10. So let me know, did you see Paris' 13th District, or are you planning to see it, and what were your thoughts? Do you have a favorite storyline, and have you checked out any of this director's other films before? Let me know in the comments below so we can discuss. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and share it, and for more movie reviews and film discussion, please make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated. Thanks for watching everyone, and keep having fun with film.